I'm back for day 4 of the Drive-In Exploitation Challenge. Got in 3 films today. First up is The Enforcer, Clint Eastwood, the third film in the Dirty Harry trilogy from 1976, directed by James Fargo, who also directed Every Which Way But Loose. He had kind of a short uh, resume as far as directing films, but he did do a few films with Eastwood. This film is a divergence from the first two in that now we're trying to get into some politically correct territory by introducing a female inspector played by Tyne Daly. And Tyne Daly, excellent actress. She went on to do Cagney and Lacey and won like 6 Emmys for TV shows. She really is good in this. In this film, we've got like a terrorist leader who basically all they're really doing under the cover of being a terrorist with some kind of political purpose and a cause, but really all they're trying to do is steal money. They take the mayor of San Francisco hostage, and it's up to Eastwood and Inspector Kate Moore, played by Tyne Daly, to rescue the mayor. That's the storyline. It's as good, I would say in summary, it's as good as the second film. Certainly not as good as the Dirty Harry film. And again, I think it's a little bit of a tired. It comes off as a very kind of a tired film, in my opinion. That doesn't hold up to repeat viewings. It's a good film. Don't get me wrong. I rated it a 7 out of 10. I just don't think that, and I've seen, as of most of you guys, I've seen The Enforcer at least 20, 30 times over my lifetime, and each time I think it's good, it's entertaining. Eastwood's always fun with his quips and his one-liners and his basically one guy against the system type stuff. That's entertaining, but I don't think it's enough. The story just isn't enough to propel it to being something that would be something you'd want to watch multiple times and get the same level of entertainment out of. Filming was production of the film. The working title was Dirty Harry 3. Eastwood felt that the film needed a title of its own, and that's when they came up with The Enforcer. It was actually this film is interesting in that it was bombed with the critics, but it was a box office huge success. The film cost $9 million and grossed $46 million. That's pretty damn good back in 1976. But the critics just tore it up, said it was a tired rehash of Dirty Harry, which it's kind of hard to argue with that. I usually disagree with critics, but I think in this case I tend to agree with them. All in all, it's still a good film, quality film, 7 out of 10. Next up, I went back to the well with the Finleys. The Curse of Her Flesh, the follow-up to The Touch of Her Flesh. In this film, we see the return of the psychotic, misogynic killer that was, in the first film, he was triggered by his wife fooling around on him. He apparently lived through the ending of the first film, and now he's back to keep on going with his dirty deeds of killing people off. This one actually has quite a bit more meat to the bones than the first film. It's obvious they were able to spend a little bit more money on it, and I think the acting is slightly better. Storyline's a little bit more engaging. It's still a series of vignettes, basically excuses to have women strip and dance around in G-strings and that kind of business. But the storyline I thought was a little bit more engaging than the first film. It's only 78 minutes. Both The Touch of Her Flash and The Curse of Her Flash. It's 78 minutes of girls stripping and bad acting along the lines of Ed Wood. It's, for that, if you like that kind of stuff, which I do, it's going to be an entertaining 78 minutes. It's nothing Academy Award winning, but it's so bad it's good type stuff. So anyway, I enjoyed it. Is it a great film? No, it's a 4 out of 10, but it's still entertaining enough. Now we go back to the 8-film set. This time we're talking about Wanted, which is right there. Wanted is one of the very few spaghetti western films with an original English title. It's the third of the Juliana Gemma films made with director Giorgio Ferroni, I believe. So this film follows $1 silver and 4 Yuma gold. And unlike the two previous films, which kind of centered around the Civil War, this is more of an old-fashioned western. Juliana Gemma is this town sheriff. The town's dominated by this corrupt landowner called Vargas, who robs smaller landowners and rapes and pillages the town. And of course he gets sideways with Juliana Gemma. Juliana Gemma does such a great job that even people that were initially his enemies start to like him. But everything turns bad when a set of Mexican bandits show up. And that's where I'll stop with the plot. It's a fun, interesting one-time watch, very very much along the lines of Sartana and the Valley of Death. I kind of consider William Berger and Juliana Gemma equivalent in terms of carrying, as a lead actor, carrying a spaghetti western film. They're not people that are going to stand out in your memory like a Lee Van Cleef or an Eastwood or Franco Nero. I mean, they're not going to be burned into your brain from seeing their films. But for a one-time watch, yeah, I mean, I think they're doing a pretty decent job of carrying, as the lead actor, a 1 or 2-time watch. The film kind of has a look and feel of the early outing of Django, and I think Django certainly influenced this film. But it's a very episodic film, and it's not something that stands up over time. It is a time capsule of a genre and of films and Italian spaghetti westerns that certainly is particularly dated when you watch it today. But still, if you like spaghetti westerns, you could do worse than Wanted, 1967. All right, well, that will wrap up day 4. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow.